Hey Cancer, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings, so take what works, leave what doesn't. And if I don't catch your wavelength or energy signature here, go check your other major placements. Also, today I'm going to be doing Oracle decks only over here on YouTube. I have missed my Oracle decks and working with them, so I'd like to do them today. And then over on Vimeo for the extended, we'll do a more traditional tarot spread, and you can join me over there if you so choose. The link should be in the description box if I remember to do that. Oh my goodness. What? Okay, I accept. All right, I accept the challenge. Confidence is your key to success, new moon in Leo. So this always tells me, the new moon aspect tells me that you are heading into unknown territory. The confidence aspect tells me that you may be feeling very insecure, unprepared, insecure, unprepared, like you really can't do this. And you're looking into something where you don't even know how anything's going to turn out. But confidence is your key to success. So yeah, we don't know how this is going to turn out, but you know what we do know from this card? That it's going to turn out like trash if you don't approach it, approach the situation from a sense of understanding that you are enough, understanding that you bring enough, understanding that you have power. You do know a little bit about what you're talking about, you know, stay a little bit humble, but you need to come in with some confidence here. If you're going to ask the person out, you need to come in with at least a little bit of confidence. Like you think that they should like to go out with you, at least that, instead of, you know, I don't, you know, you probably don't want to, but would you like to go out with me? Something like that. Like even with when we're approaching jobs, when we're approaching even our own creative projects, we have to approach with some level of confidence that we have a right to do this, and that we could succeed. So confidence is key here, even though we've got a lot of unknowns. This could just end up being these cards. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Oh yes. We have worked through your fears. New moon in Scorpio, again, looking into the unknown, looking at something that we don't know how it's going to go, but we do have fears. So this may cause us to be defensive, especially if we're lacking confidence. We may end up in a much more defensive space than we ever intended, feeling like we have to argue, feeling like we have to debate, defending ourselves, but that's all based on fears, maybe fears of inadequacy, fears that we're not good enough. So we're dealing with that. And we're building confidence in dealing with where we feel insecure, where we feel anxiety, and our fears. These both have us looking into the unknown. Okay. So, all right. Okay. We have look at the big picture. So the details may be a little bit right now, but overall, what's your goal here? So keeping that in mind, especially if we're dealing with, you know, confidence issues, fears, keeping in mind, like, what is the overall goal? Because when little things go wrong or little things don't go the way we want, we can often think like, oh, this is never going to work out. So this is keeping your eye on the prize, on the bigger picture. We've got the arrow from the Sagittarius here. I like how this is, okay, so you're headed into the unknown, and this is a reminder to just keep an eye on the big picture. Don't get sucked into little battles. Don't get sucked into details that aren't working quite well. Keep an overall idea on your overall goal here and your overall picture. This to me also is a little bit of a zoom out issue. So let's say we're talking about maybe asking someone out or starting a relationship or something like that. So this would be like, what do you want? I can tell you what you want. You want, you know, if we're dealing with relationships, we're dealing with jobs, anything, we want something healthy. We want something reciprocal. We want something where our needs are getting met, and also we're meeting someone else's. So we want something that feels safe, that feels good. And we want that in every aspect of our life, family, friends, relationships, romantic relationships, friendships, work, everything, right? These are the things that we want. So look at the big picture talks to me a little bit about like not being so hung up on one job, on one person, on one relationship. But overall, what do we want? We want healthy relationships. We want healthy life-supporting connections, right? So it may not be this person, right? So this can actually help with your confidence and working on your fears. So we may be, don't latching on to someone. So if we're taking our metaphor of asking someone out or making some sort of move, realize that what you want is an overall healthy relationship. It may not be with this person. I mean, you need to come in with confidence. You need to face your fears. Look at exactly what you are afraid of, exactly what's holding you back, and exactly why your confidence feels shaken right now. But one of the ways to deal with that is actually to just look at the overall picture. What do you want overall in general here? You want a healthy relationship. Is it going to happen with this person? We don't know. Only time will tell. We'll need to explore. We'll need to experiment. We'll need to figure that out, right? And we have some ideas on how to figure that out here. But overall, you want a healthy relationship. So making sure we're keeping an eye on the bigger picture, on the bigger prize, and not necessarily, it's got to be with this person. I want a relationship with this person. Whether it's healthy or not, I don't care. I just want that, right? So letting go of that and keeping your eye on the larger picture. So we also have, you are very close to achieving your goal. So that sounds, I mean, and hopefully we set the right goal, right? Setting closed-minded or, right? We want to be open to infinite possibilities, right? So when we set like such a specific goal of I want to be in a relationship with this person, well then, okay, you can do that actually. You can. You might have to throw out your self-respect. You might have to throw out all sorts of things that should have been in part of your overall picture. So hopefully you set your goal for your best health and a big picture goal rather than a smaller goal. So, but you are very close to achieving your goal. We have gibbous moon. Adjustments may be needed though, right? So yeah, adjustments may be needed. You may need to, look at your bigger picture here. This could be a little bit of a tense time. Don't push. Oh yeah, I like that vibe on this. You're very close to achieving your goal. This is a little bit about like sliding into that parking spot. I mean, if you're in I'm just remembering a really good parking job I did on ice once where I just shoot right in there, used the ice to my advantage to get into a tight spot. So, but there's a sense of gliding in there, right? Like using what you have to your advantage to get in. And there was not a lot of maneuvering with that maneuver. It was just like a quick turn of the wheel, an application of brakes, and then I knew how the car was going to respond to that on that surface. So that's what this always reminds me of is these barriers sort of receding. There's a slide here. There's a glide here. There's not you don't have to push. You don't have to maneuver. You don't have to work really hard here. Like you've already put in something into this. So you're very close to achieving your goal. I also love South Node, don't let your past hold you back. So maybe you did fail at something in the past. Maybe there are reasons for these fears, dear Cancer. And looking at the bigger picture, we're close to achieving some sort of bigger picture goal of like being happy with our job, being happy with our relationship, whatever, being in a healthy situation, whatever our big picture goal was, it looks like it's has the possibility of kind of gliding in here, but we're going to need to have some sense of our own success and our own worthiness here. And we're going to need to really be facing those fears head on. So how do you do that? One of the ways is that you can invite the fear in. Okay, anxiety. Okay, fear. I see you. I understand that you have an important message. Come on in, sit on my imaginary couch in my head. Let me pour you some imaginary hot tea and let's just talk. What are you here to tell me? Because those emotions and those fears do bring important messages. And sometimes we can have a little debate with them. We can say, well, here's where I think where you're wrong. I think you might have this twisted. Or we can just say, thank you for the information. I appreciate that. And I'll integrate that into my decision going forward. So that's one way we can work through those fears. So don't let your past hold you back. Okay. And this is also, we also are getting awakening, energetic upgrades, and a new way of being, integration. So this to me is learning something new, approaching a situation differently than you have in the past. So the South Node, North Node work is some of my favorite work in astrology. So if you can, put your birth date and time in any one of the calculators online, they're going to give you your South Node, North Node stuff, and then you can go researching that and trying to understand that. I think it's some of the most powerful work that astrology can give us, especially around as we approach middle age, as we approach sort of these turning points where how we've been and how we've approached life has to starts moving and changing, because unless we want our whole life to look exactly the same, and most of us don't. Most of us would like to learn. Most of us would like to upgrade. Most of us would like to be learning new things and shifting our approach. So there's some way that you've done something in the past that hasn't worked, maybe being a little myopic, like it has to work with this person or it has to work with this job, maybe feeling less than, approaching something from a sense of, not feeling worthy or not feeling like you're good enough. Whatever it is, you're learning a new way to be. So you're a new way of being. You're learning a new way to be, and you're not going to do things in the same way. You're not going to prioritize the same things you have in the past. You're not going to do the thing that you did before. You're learning a different way to approach a situation. So that, again, these readings can be like on a scale of 1 to 10, really big movements in our life, or just smaller things of, I've always approached this problem at work as in, like, I don't have what it takes. I'm not good enough to do this. Maybe it's time for me to explore and at least experiment with a different way of doing something, a different way of being. And that brings us directly to these two cards. We have play, have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious, and take a break. Life's a work, not a season, get off the treadmill. So play to me is all about experimentation. It's about open-ended, and again, it's reminding me of this, look at the big picture of full moon in Sagittarius. It's about being more open-ended, being more open to other ways of approaching something, not being quite so goal-oriented, being more process-oriented. So play is how children at least learn and are meant to learn. We're wired to learn through play. We're wired to learn through experimentation, play, all of that. Not quite so goal-oriented here. So maybe you've been very goal-oriented in the past, and especially when it relates to a relationship, this can be very difficult, whereas I want to be in a relationship with that person, right? And that's such a concrete goal. There's no open-endedness here. There's no sense of exploration and play here. There's this concrete goal. This is, okay, well, let's zoom out on that goal and say, I want to have a healthy relationship. How does that work? And so you can talk about, maybe there are changes, there are ways you need to learn, there are ways you need to approach relationships that are totally different than you have in the past. But there's just this, with this play card, there's a sense of exploration, like setting the intention and then going exploring and then having fun and learning what you can learn, and not necessarily, because when we have a goal of, I want to be in a relationship with this person, or I want this job, we can zoom past red flags. We can, not pay attention to things, not actually respond to the actual current environment around us. So this is like just an experimentation, not being results oriented is what I'm seeing with this play card, not being results oriented, looking more at the big picture, looking more at the process, and not being, you're heading into something that's kind of new here, and you want to approach it from a different way than you have in the past. And you don't know how that's going to go, right? Once we start opening up to experimenting and, okay, well, how I've done things in the past really hasn't worked out very well for me. So maybe I should just try something different, anything different, right? Or when you're getting to know someone, not letting past relationships or past experiences color that, and being more in exploration mode as far as like, well, I'm going to say this, I wonder how they'll respond to me doing this, rather than being like, they might respond like that, so I won't do that, right? Because then you end up in recreating the same relationship over and over again. You don't end up and forcing the other person into roles, or they have to leave. So you don't end up like with this idea of well, let's just explore, let's just experiment. I'll say this, let's see what they say. I'll say that I like this. Let's see how they respond, rather than trying to control that, feeling like you have to conform to somebody else's ideas, or being afraid to experiment. This is saying, do not be afraid to explore, to experiment, to play around, to just have it be open-ended, and have something be not quite so goal-oriented. But you do have a goal, and you're close to achieving it. That's what's interesting about this, is there's a sense of the play brings you to the goal, you know, like in that parking analogy that you know, I was just kind of, well, I think I know, you know, I didn't really think about it. I just kind of like, that sounds fun. And we just kind of slid right in there. And it was a playful thing, rather than like really stressing out about, you know, oh, I'm on ice, I have to park. It was memorable. It was very fun and memorable for me, apparently. So don't let just because you've done something this one way in the past, it's time to learn a new way. You can do this. Don't be afraid, and approach something without a concrete goal, but more as play and experimentation. And it actually might bring you closer to your goal than you want. Keep an eye on the bigger picture, not the specifics. So, and then we have take a break. Life's a work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. So yeah, again, this is like, don't do things the way you've always been doing. Just take a break from and it's not that you can't ever go back to the way you did things before, but this is a chance to break away from that, play, take a vacation almost. Look at the bigger picture. You can, I almost see like a sense of, you could leave something serious behind for a while and just go enjoy something. And that actually is going to get you closer to your goal than doing everything in the same old way. You need to be more experimentational, more exploratory, detaching from the outcome of something. It might be scary. You might not, you know, when we get in our routines, we know that we can, well, I know how to do it this way, so I'm just going to stick with this way. This is like, you've got to break out of that and play, experiment, explore. And, you know, your comfort zone is where you feel confident. Yes, I know what I'm doing. Yes, forget the comfort zone. Forget, you know what you're doing. Forget, you know, being afraid of messing up. Just play, explore, experiment here. It actually brings you closer to your overall goal, maybe not the specific goal that you feel really attached to, but an overall goal. And it seems like it gives you a break from some sort of routine. Take a break from the routine, from the way you always approach something, even though you know, that's your comfort zone and you feel good there. You don't need to do that. This is actually like asking you very clearly to take a break from the way you always do things, from your comfort zone, from where you feel confident and where you feel comfortable. So those are all the cards we're going to do today for this. I'm going to pull a more traditional tarot read over on the extended on Vimeo. So if you'd like to join me there, that'd be great. If not, I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. And also, I did a mini tarot shots this week, so you can check that out too.